The drivers, passengers, and construction workers escaped without life-threatening injuries. But as the summer road projects continue, IDOT hopes drivers figure it out and start paying attention and start slowing down. We'll next meet with the district on Tuesday. The teachers can go on strike as early as next week. There are still potholes about a couple inches deep. The state's attorney Randy Brinegar says the video and documents he poured over the last few weeks, the furnace flue, which pumps CO2 out of the house, broke. To protect his store, Antonio put surveillance cameras like that one. Local officials wonder whether this is really the best use of those funds. Laker says a big reason why recycling has cost more is because more people are using the program, which means the county has to pay for more pickups.
All over the campus, you got some people who have been up drinking.
Today's rally comes as Israel's military warned civilians in Gaza City of plans to escalate its attacks on Hamas.
When the monthly electric bill arrives here at the Palmer Arena.
This week, they had to bring in a list of short and long-term goals they'd made for themselves. The idea is to get them to stop worrying about others and instead take a look at themselves and what they want to do with their lives. Bill Doherty had told his boss Danville needs to start making its own signs.
I've been talking in his ear before that, and then he went to a public works, and he's seen one of these, and once he's seen it, he said, we need one of those.
But can a city that recently laid off 24 of its workers afford a $10,000 printer?
First of all, it's cheaper to do these types of signs in-house, so you're saving money there. It's cost effective because it's quicker, so the personnel are not using as much time. It's a lot easier. When we go out, I'll show you the difference.
One difference is what holds the sign.
The new signs have two poles. First is the anchor, which goes 4 feet into the ground. Into that goes the post, which holds the new signs. The idea is that if a car or anything else crashes into the post, that'll break, but the anchor will stay in place. Federal law now mandates that type of pole. Doherty says the more reflective signs on that pole are easier to see, an added safety feature that saves money.
Done.
The change might even make work more fun.
It makes an old job, more pleasurable to come to because you're getting to do something different. Yeah, but I'm excited because it's doing things the right way. I like to do things the right way, and that's what we're trying to do.
Well, we're live at Vermilion Regional Airport. If our photon can turn, the plane looks like it's about to land, and it is landing without any problems, it appears. Thank goodness. This plane was circling the airport. It tipped a little bit. It's tipped on its nose. The front wheel was the one giving it the problem, folks. The plane was having problems with its landing gear, but they're applauding here at the airport. It looks like the pilot's going to be safe. We have emergency crews getting ready to head over there. Folks, this plane has been circling the airport for more than an hour, probably like an hour and a half. The plane had landing gear problems, and as you can see, it was the front wheel that was giving it a hard time. The idea for the pilot was to run out of fuel, so he was just circling and circling, and it looks like that is the pilot coming out of the plane. It looks like the pilot is safe. We're pretty far away, so I'm having a hard time seeing, but it looks like the pilot has made it out. There you see the personnel getting over there in their fire gear. Just such a relief if this pilot is okay. He was circling a lot of anxious moments. The airport manager told me that it was almost a certainty that this plane would land safely. He's had this happen before here at the airport, but you never know until it lands safely, and it appears that is what's happened. Quite a crowd's gathered. If we can show the crowd starting to file out to our right from here, we've got a crowd here that had been here for more than an hour. Folks have their scanners going. They're trying to hear what's going on, and they're starting to leave. They've applauded, and it looks like this plane has landed safely. The information I have is it's a single pilot, and he could be from Texas. That's what I've been told. As I'm trying to step in front of your shot. Hopefully I'm not blocking the plane here for you. The pilot, again, circling and circling, doing dipsy-doos, trying to make sure that he got there. But as you can see, it looks like he's landed safely. We'll give you more updates at 6, but for now, let's go back to Ben in Champaign. An anonymous police source brought this to our attention. He cannot comment publicly per department policy, but 3 retired officers did. Now, this change affects the first and third shift. As of April 15th, if an officer calls in sick during one of those shifts, The department will not call in a 6th officer with the exception of Friday and Saturday. Third shift commanders can call back an officer any other day if the conditions call for it. We interviewed the 3 retired officers who say this policy endangers the community. These days, Mort Young tries to sell houses, but for 20 years he patrolled Danville streets. Young says there has always been internal debate about how many officers is enough.
We always argued about it, but we always had different views. But the city, or at least the chiefs that I worked with, always felt like we could never go below 6.
Young served on the police union's executive board for more than 10 years.
And I think if I was president of the union, or if I was still active duty, I'd be jumping up and down. This is very unsafe. This is not a good thing.
We obtained an internal police memo sent to all personnel. It lays out the details of when a commander can call in a 6th officer if someone calls in sick. Retired cop Jeff Palmer says that might be too late.
And something happens, by the time I get ready, get in my uniform and get to town, the crime's long since over with, so I don't see how that can work.
Fellow retired officer Mike Cox worries about the ability of 5 officers to back each other up.
If you stop that car out on the street and your manpower's down, you may well be dealing with a carload of very nasty people all by yourself.
But these men are away from the force and can only stay in touch with friends who still protect and serve.
I'd just like to see this get fixed. I don't know what it's going to take, but the union needs to work with the city and try to come up with some kind of collaborative effort to get the streets taken care of.
We asked Public Safety Director Larry Thomason if he would discuss this policy on camera. He said he was not available for an interview today, but agreed to do one tomorrow. In our Vermilion County Bureau, Bayatpour, ABC News Channel 15. Well, for starters, we've got mud bogging going on all day. Now that's happening down at the far end of the grounds. Now, for those of y'all who don't know what that is, that's basically trying to drive a truck or an ATV through a long stretch of mud without getting stuck. Now, in addition to that, there's also the Redneck Games obstacle course going on down there. Now, that's just basically trying to get through a crazy course. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Of course, there's also mud volleyball happening. Now, this is the 4th year of the event.
AJ, you mentioned earlier about a redneck relay race. What in the world is a redneck relay race?
Well, that's actually the Redneck Games, but that's the best way I describe it. It's a relay through an obstacle course. You start by spinning and getting yourself dizzy with a bat, running through and crawling through mud, and then you got 4 people on a team, and at the end, everyone gets up, and you gotta get on these skis. You see, you gotta have the pairs of people on them. You got 4 people, each with 1 foot in the skis, and you gotta just walk through them. So I've already got Nate here. We're already half the team. Ben and Brittany, y'all gotta get out here so we can have a Channel 15 Redneck Games team.